All right, so welcome. This is our first ever Profit Pathway Hot Seat. And there's going to be times where I do a case study in Own It, and there's going to be times where I do this Profit Pathway Hot Seat. And yeah, part of the reason being I was kind of running out of examples, and I was like trying to find good examples for hot seats, but it was harder for people in business. A lot of people don't do business in a way that's in harmony with their natural design. So I had some struggles. And also I wanted to really build in the power of Own It and really lean into the power of Own It, which comes through, all of it, knowing what your natural design is really empowering. Beginning to step more fully into your natural design is empowering and important. But what's really powerful is when you start to bring your natural design more and more into the structures of your business, into your profit pathways. So what we're doing here is I've got our first profit pathway hot seat person, which is Kim Standeven, and her natural design is below this video. And my intention for this is to create, to bring creativity to the community, to bring creativity to how you do your business, because this is where the magic happens. In my business, the magic came from adjusting all the things in my business to feel really awesome and to really serve my clients and to feel good and to match my natural design. So, and those who are creating a lot of success are doing this in the community. So let's dive in. So profit pathway to review, we've got reach, marketing, sales, and fulfillment. And it's common for people to be like, how do I get more reach? Like, that's where their mind first goes. And reach is important. However, if you don't have the fulfillment sorted and solid and you feel super awesome about it, the rest of the pieces are harder to put in place. Like, if you don't have a solid fulfillment, like a solid offering or program or whatever it is that you're offering, focusing on reach is like the wrong focus. It's not going to move you forward. You're going to have more leads, more potential clients for what? Like, if it's not solid. Whereas I've really found the more solid I feel about the fulfillment, the more fire I have to build out the rest of the profit pathway. So so I'm glad that you're here, and we're going to dive in. So each time I do this, you'll see maybe a different profit pathway element, or at the very minimum, you're going to see someone with different natural design. And so with Kim, we see here, she's got a lot of 4 and 8, and that really shows us a lot. Like, that's the first thing I notice here. But also her biggest gift is a 10, and she's got 3 and 7 mixed in there. So these like spiritual energies mixed with practicality, spiritual and inspiration mixed with practicality. What we're focusing on here today is fulfillment. And we're taking a look at a particular offering that Kim has created or is creating that is a high ticket one-on-one, right, Kim?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so Kim, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to dive in.
Yeah, me too.
So
great.
It's called Hot Seat, and it's really about creativity. So my intention for these is to help pull away the things that we think we're supposed to do and to lean into what could it look like? What could it feel like? Mm-hmm. And I think one of the greatest examples of implementing natural design into business is my best friend, who's also in Own It, Kate Harlow, who's done 3 case studies as of this moment, because she just lives it so fully. Like, I'm inspired by it. I'm like, okay, I need to step up my game here. And I created this. So just what happened over almost a couple of years is we would talk, and she would be like, oh, I'm going to do this talk, and I could see how she was just going to do the same thing the old way. And I was like, well, why don't you bring more of your Leo in and your Taurus? And we went back and forth, and she ended up creating, like, how she does her whole business is so aligned and so congruent. And that's the goal. And she definitely had a lot of mentoritis going on inside, like following the mentors, ignoring her truth inside. So so let's jump in. So we can see from Kim's brand essence that she's got double Aries, double Leo. Double Aries. I didn't even see that before. I don't even know why that didn't stand out before.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's Aries everywhere.
Aries and Leos, there's fire. It's like giant fire everywhere.
That's why I like the hot seat. Feels good.
Exactly. So welcome to the hot seat, where you are right at home. Yeah, so we're looking at a one-on-one offering.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first look at someone's natural design who has a bunch of Leo and Aries, instantly it's like high end. And Kim already knows this and is already on board with this, and that this is what she wants to build out. But it's obvious that, hey, that's a good match. Like, and high end because she's likely to attract leaders, people who are successful. It's not likely she's not going to attract someone who's successful. Plus, it's her private work, her one-on-one work. So that is the highest ticket thing that you offer typically. Okay, so one more thing on this, that she's got the energy that is harmonious with leaders, but also we've got someone who's so fiery. So with all that fire and power, when I think of one-on-one, I think someone who can handle that, right? So, and who can handle the like powerful 7 that drills down, and the Virgo, like detail, like drilling into like the subtleties and the details. Someone who can handle that and can handle the power that she has. So super important. And that's just the big picture. So let's take a look. What were you thinking so far? So what Kim has mentioned before is doing some type of spiritual advisor offering for leaders. So what do you have any ideas for like the framework, or like how long you were thinking, how short, like just a picture?
Yeah, it's all kind of muddled right now, but I'm thinking it would be a day. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going back to what Scott did, you know, where that day that at the spa kind of thing, where there's rest incorporated into it, because even it's really interesting how all this stuff lines up. So yes, Monday I did a 2-hour session, similar to what I want to offer with a lady, and it was so intense that I would have liked to have been able to like do a piece, rest, come back and do a piece, because like I think both of us, even though it was epic and beautiful, it would have been even more if we were to like take a breath and absorb and then come back. Yeah, so that's sort of how I'm feeling right now, is probably a day, or a weekend maybe, I don't know. A day feels good right now.
Yeah. Well, and there's I'm just going to use this, so I'm not just talking to Kim, we're doing this so everyone can benefit, right? So there's a whole different range of things, and my gift is creativity, and I want to bring as much creativity as possible and just show different options and what it can look like. So when you think about how long, there's so many different factors. Like number one, these people are busy, so it's like, okay, so they're going to dive in, you know, move through whatever they need to move through, and then it's like efficient, right?
Yeah,
going deep and just getting it done in a chunk of time, just like Scott's. So that makes sense. And then you're like, maybe a weekend. So I have a friend who I learned how to cook from. She does other work now, but I learned how to cook like amazing healthy food and all that, and it totally changed how I am in the kitchen, which is amazing. And for her, if she was, and she's the kind of person who would work with leaders as well. For her, it would make sense for her to actually maybe move in for a week, you know? And like, why? Because she wants to help them make new habits and learn new skills in their own kitchen. Like that would actually make sense. So it's not so much about how long from our perspective. We always, when it's fulfillment, want to be thinking back to like who the people are and what makes sense. So I don't imagine it would make sense for you to be around someone for a week. Like they would probably be, that's a little, like that's over.
A little intense. A lot of fire.
Exactly. So yeah, so cool. So that's the first thing is, okay, we're potentially looking at a day, maybe 2 days, but let's So we know that we're in that range. And because it's a spiritual advisor, so that sounds like a kind of like a deep dive or a quick fix. Is that right?
It's a deep dive in what's right now. So I sort of like from a spiritual advisor piece, I having connection with people and relationship with people is really important to me. So I see this as like an over time as well. So it would be like a deep dive in the VIP day, but then there would be like follow up.
Yeah.
Because I just don't feel right about with the work that I do to be like, bam, and then see you later. Have fun with that. So
I'm like, okay, but what about that you want the relationship in the longer term? So we kind of want to build those two in.
Build that in somehow.
Yeah. Yes. And with definitely in my experience, I found, especially with high ticket, it's the bottom line is people who invest high ticket are investing for a result. Yeah. They're investing to get an outcome. Like they would be coming to you because something's really off or something's really wrong and they need help. And it's going to be really important to start listing what are the different reasons they come to you, okay. So that you can have marketing that leads to it, different marketing potentially, because they can come for a number of reasons because you have this gift that is more broad. So to engage with someone longer term when it's high ticket, it is sometimes nice to have some type of have some type of experience with you first. So that's why selling one-on-one in a way that really is bringing out your heart and really showing, like highlighting what's going on for them with your gifts. And also so we've got VIP day with you could do VIP day with a short, and that could be a program. I did that for a long time. I did VIP day plus 6 months. I did that for a while, but then I chopped it down. And what I found is a lot of people who are leaders they're busy and they want to handle it. Yeah. So one option can be because you do have a lot of intensity too. So it's like, let's go intense, and then maybe it lessens or something. It could be like a 90-day shorter to like go in, go deep, and then you establish the relationship. And at the end of that, you can have like ongoing, because you probably are looking for long-term, like people that you can work with, I would imagine.
Yeah, that would be like the ideal. Long-term doesn't have to be, it can look like once a year, but I kind of feel like it would be neat to have somebody or people or my clients that are continuously coming back and wanting that support and guidance and
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of when I look at your natural design, when I look at your gifts, I see the one. And so that's like leadership. So you are a leader in this realm for them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And so that they can have a space to come back to. And you can look at, like, I would look at these separately, like, what is this package? And you can have more than one type of offering. You can have just the VIP day. You can have this 90-day, for example, or 8 weeks or whatever it is, like chunk of time, or 6 months, whatever you decide. And then you can have after support that might look a little different. And it might be, at the end of it, you can have, I did this a lot in the past where I work with clients privately for a chunk of time. At the end of the chunk of time, I would give them a call, and it would be like a review call or a celebration call or something.
Yeah.
And we look at, hey, where were you in the beginning? Where are you now? What challenges are you facing now? And if it feels obvious that, hey, there's a new area to explore, well, then you can look at what are the next options, including repeating the same thing or, whatever's going to suit them best. And
Yeah, I like that. That feels like having add-ons, sort of like.
Yeah, like a custom, not custom necessarily, but what do they need next?
What do they need next? Yeah, then there's
what do they need next could be. So here's the thing with you, and it's interesting. I'm having more ideas come in about the after part. So let's just go with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that provides fuel to the whole thing, and it might give us ideas for the first part. um, for leaders they're powerful, they're successful, and if something's up, excuse me, they likely want to deal with it, like now. Mm-hmm. So what might be good would be like some type of Voxer support, like that's that walkie-talkie app.
Yep, I love that.
Yeah, so having that kind of support that's like specific, when XYZ happens, like one of these 3 things happens, jump on Voxer and we'll handle it, kind of thing. Because people are busy, leaders are busy, but that doesn't mean, just because you're doing less time doesn't mean you're doing less transformation. Because what's more valuable, a session on a time that they booked where they actually ended up feeling amazing and like clear because the moment had passed since they were in that big challenge, or being like, Kim, blah, and then Kim's like, blah, what are you getting? Back and forth, and then I feel so much better, moving on, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what's happening and that's what's happening right now that's showing up for me is like people that I'm working with, or they're like sending me Facebook messages, and that's what we're doing, like going back and forth, or Voxer, and that's what I want to monetize, is that offering of that instant, but also like the VIP day being like the foundational pieces that they can do some stuff on their own too.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. So, and that kind of, because again, when you have this potent natural design, because 7 is intense.
Mm-hmm.
When you combine 7 with Virgo, you have me and you. But it's like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Every little subtlety.
Yeah.
And that's not needed constantly.
No.
In a one-on-one capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like this quick support. So
yeah, I like that too.
Important reframe around this. So people sometimes think, oh, it's fast, so it's like cheaper. No, like what they're buying is the transformation. And what is the transformation of having you there with just like the press of a button when they need it, around the specific challenge they're having. And so this is where it becomes really important to connect it back to your ideal clients. Like, what are the specific challenges? Because because that can really shift a lot. Kind of like, I'm trying, like, what's an example? Can we think of an example so we can ground this in?
Yeah, I mean, just recently, I had a client contact me because she was in her head. Like, it was in that dwell, swirl. She's like, I need the grounding before I go into this big interview, this executive interview. And it was literally 5 minutes of just being that, okay, let's go through a visualization, which I just sent her. She listened to it on her own, but it was that 3 to 5 minutes of being like, okay, let's just be in it together and get you to where you need to be. So is that what you mean by example?
Yeah. So well, and it inspired other pieces. So we've got the, like, we're starting to build the value of this. So it's access on demand, and you could say within 48 hours, or and not on weekends and holidays.
Not at 1 a.m. I will not respond at 1 a.m.
Someone maybe it was Kate, I don't know, someone who offered like best friend level access, which is like, that kind of priority.
Like, yeah.
But as often as I would listen and respond to a best friends, that's what you would get, kind of thing. But whatever. It is good to put limits for sure. But you demonstrate also by your actions. If you're replying 5 seconds after they always message, then they might expect that. So you might do, because you're pretty quick in responding. So but it's good to just be like, it's going to be up to this. Sometimes it's fast, but also sometimes it's not fast.
Right.
So then you're not like tied to your phone when you want to hang out with your kids. Okay. So a couple things that came through. So we've got this quick So here's the value. We've got the quick, in the moment support. And even though you're not there, right there, it's recorded, the energy that they're in, the challenge that they're in, all the details. Whereas if you have a, hey, can we have a call next week? Okay. Then next week rolls around. What was the challenge again? Like, I don't quite remember. In the moment support.
In the moment, yeah, is really important.
Yeah. Quick in the moment support. It's also custom.
Yes, very much so.
Like, boom, here's a meditation. Also, yeah.
Well, and even the messages that they receive is custom, like, because that's where I get my downloads from, is their specific people or spiritual team, as I like to call it, is giving them specific custom messages. So it's not like everybody has the same team.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's custom because of their spiritual team. It's custom because it's private. You're not just like, hey, I'm inspired, so I made everybody a meditation.
Right. Yeah.
It's very custom, like the high level of custom. So this is the value piece. And that I also heard like grounding.
Yes.
So that's awesome. I really keep picturing this for you. It's like it's like grounding the spiritual, like bringing the spiritual into the physical.
And when you said the word practical at the beginning, I was like, oh, I got to write that down, because it's practical spirituality. It's rooted spirituality. And a friend of mine, we were having this conversation because a lot of spirituality has this label that it's very airy, whereas mine is very rooted. And so I want to attract people that are more in the day-to-day, like you said, day-to-day practical spirituality pieces.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're gonna want to spend. So I asked for an example, and you gave an example of like, hey, she's going into this meeting or interview, and she's in her head and it's all swirling. So that like that's an example of a very specific thing. And you might see if you can start building out what are the categories of things.
Okay.
Is it so job related, business related, relationship related, parenting related? What are the all of
this? Yeah, exactly.
And it probably will be more broad, my sense is, because of your Aries. So Aries is like, put yourself first, take care of yourself. So that kind of is like the big picture.
Yes, that's the umbrella for sure.
Yeah, that's like the energetic container of all of it, is taking care of yourself. So what are all the ways that these leaders don't do that? And what does their life look like because of it? Because what we do as people who have a program to help people is we look at, oh, she was in her head and then I got her grounded. Like, that's how we think, but we want to back up and like, hey, what's going on in her career? Like, what's going on in her career that might bring up stuff that she's going to need, or what's going on in her relationship that's going to she's going to need to keep coming back, and like she's going to be thrown off track, but she needs to come back. Like what are those? And this is for every single person watching. The more you can build it out in your mind and really understand what their day-to-day life is like and why they need you day-to-day in their actual reality, in their struggles that they're facing, the more you can get that, the more success you will have. Bottom line, that's probably the most foundational piece. If you get their world, if you get their challenges, and then your tools are there to help, rather than it being about the tool, it being about what you do with them. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So
I love that. That's so great. I feel like I got to do a bunch of interviews to ask people, like, what is it in the day-to-day because it's that throwing off track that I think I would be of most value for people, is that when you're like, what it's like to be grounded in that feeling, but when you're off track and you're struggling to get back to that center.
That's so interesting. I had that happen this morning.
You needed to call me,
I know, right? First time, spiritual advisor when I need her. Later. But
it's that feeling that we all get, even myself, right?
Yes. So okay, so now I have an example, and mine is probably a little like very specific because it's around trauma, like triggers throw me off. So it's not like
triggers. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. but it was like really specific. And I have lots of things to bring it back, but it was taking a lot. And yeah, and it's not the best example, but let's say it was something else threw someone off. Then what does it mean to me? What it meant to me is I sat there was like a couple hours where I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like relaxing. It's not like, oh, I feel amazing, this is awesome. I wasn't. It was, I didn't feel good and I couldn't move forward. So for me, I've got Leo as well, and Aries North Node, so I've got that, and Taurus, so I've got this like leader type energy for sure. So what is, and I've got even more like Capricorn, which likes efficiency, so I don't like wasted time. So I don't like being thrown off and wasting time. Or if something is going on and it's just, yeah, so it's something that's circling in their heads, but what is it? So is it like challenges with a boss, a team member, relationship challenges? So if you can list out as much as possible what the challenges are and then what the cost is.
The cost, yeah.
Like what, for me, it was a couple hours of being thrown off, which I don't work a lot of hours, so it's actually a lot, you know, it's a significant thing. And I take time off to rest when I stop. I don't sit there and not feel good. So not that I always feel good, of course, I'm human, but yeah, so this is what we want to, so once you see this, once you paint that picture, and this is for every single person, once you paint that picture, now you can start to see how your work is going to help them, like where it fits in, what it's going to do, and what it's going to solve for them. And what is life like when they have you versus when they don't have you? What goes on, and as much as possible, and this is for every single person, I can't even stress this enough, why are they coming to you specifically for the reason in their life? Not why are they coming to you, they need grounding. No, they don't think like that. They think, I had this fight with my partner and like, I can't, whatever.
Yeah.
Or like my employee is driving me crazy and like, I can't, like, I'm being, like, what are those specific realities? The more we get that, the better. So for example, those who have these more spiritual transformational type businesses, I get the challenges of growing a business. Like I know all of it, because I've been there myself, but also I remember, like I go back into it. I'm not just like, feel your money blocks and like, you're not
great,
blah, blah, blah. It's all about the work. No, it's not about the work. Why is the work there? The work is there because people are burning themselves out and they're doing the wrong things in their business or they're being exhausted. So by how they're doing things or whatever, or they have a ceiling on their sales. Like I know all this because I've had it all happen to me. So I remember like a million scenarios and I keep that fresh in my mind. Especially if I'm going to offer something or create marketing, because if I'm just focusing on the tools, it's like, it's not the same. It's not as powerful. It's not as successful. So yeah, cool. So I've got here.
I love it.
Quick. A lot of the value comes from quick in the moment support. So if you were to not offer that, it would be weird. Plus you are pretty fast at responding. Like if I'm ever messaging you, you're like pretty fast compared to me. Yeah. I'm like the least fast ever. Ever. So that's the trait that you have, you know, like, so, okay, like that makes sense. If it was someone who if you didn't like being on Voxer, if you didn't like, then you can maybe say tech support or Facebook message support or whatever. It's up to you. Yeah. But, so do what feels good, but I just observed from you that you are that person who's like, hey, I'm there. And so going back to this afterward structure, it might be that's all it is. It's the quick in the moment support plus, so there's a couple ways you can, let's talk about this to structure it and then we can come back to the first part. So the after part, I think having the quick in the moment support is kind of like your maybe standard part of it. And you can do it, let's just run it a couple of ways. So first way is you could have that within a 6-month period, because then they're more committed. So 6 months probably makes more sense, or it could be 90 days, whatever you choose. But say 6 months. They have like, 3 calls with you that they can book anytime kind of thing, that are like sessions, or 3 sessions with you that are specific, like work through one of these bigger issues session, in obviously better words. But these sessions, and they have this support, this like in the moment support, and then maybe they have like a couple, well, you don't even need them, but like emergency calls, like that might be good, where it's like within kind of like a boxer response, but it's like a deeper dive into something that they just have, where they just have to have you there, but that might not be needed. Because, and I like you being, you're this mom who has kids and you're busy, so having the ability to respond when it's on your terms, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, that works.
And taking care of yourself, so you might not put that part in. It's either scheduled calls or this boxer support.
Yeah. Cool.
So having that, but you can put like a bucket that there's, you know, X number of calls. And yeah, you really want to look at what's going to serve them and what matches your natural design. So your natural design is quick in the moment insights with people you know deeply. That's the depth is the 7. It likes to go deep. So deep, and then you know them. And it's the state, you've got these 4s, you're the stable presence in their life, and you help them really stay in their power as much as possible. So having that support is really helpful, and then having the sessions, and you can decide how many, but so that's an example. Can you think of anything else that feels like it would be good?
Yeah. I'm just feeling like that's really, I'm getting some feedback, sorry.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
No.
Oh. What's going on? I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Yeah, so let's just look back to your natural design and see what else stands out. See what might be missing. So in anything you create, you want to make sure, okay, these pieces are there. So for example, the Aries is like the container. The Virgo, you're just going to be that because you're going to know them deeply. So I like it. You're going deep first. So then you already have so much Virgo data, Virgo 7 data to then draw from for the rest of it. Like it's just going to happen, right? And also with the Leo, it's like a higher end. We dive deep, and then they've got this person by their side, like the secret weapon. So yeah, totally. And so you are a secret weapon. That makes sense. So all of that matches your brand essence. This makes sense, right? So let's take a look at your. So for me, the 4 is the grounding, right? Getting them back in the physical. The 4, and if you think of any other ways to do this, that's what you want to add into your program. So, and also 4 is like checklist or like quick, you know, like you might have a toolbox of like quick resets. Or you might actually build a custom toolbox for them. Like that's very high end and freaking awesome.
I do I get a lot of meditation stuff that comes through, like that's really quick.
Like what? Having your own custom meditation toolbox? Specific for you? Like approved of by your spirit guides? That's amazing.
Yeah, right?
And especially, ideally, they would be quicker, right?
Yeah.
Not all of them have to be quick, because sometimes they can be deeper, but people are busy.
Yeah.
These people are busy.
They'd be quick. Typically, they're quick, you know, minute, 2 minutes.
Yes, awesome. So now we're starting. So now we're bringing in this practical 4 that processes. We're bringing in this prestigious Leo and Aries and Virgo of like this custom, and then you could just build it, and it might just be like a folder on Dropbox. It's just like all of them, and or it might be like a page on like a members only page or whatever on your website.
And I also, what's coming to me right now, I also do a lot of work with cards, message cards. So lots of times just randomly I'll think of someone and be like, oh, they need a card or they need a message, and I'll just send it to them. Yeah. So custom stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's like that's like inspired or in the moment messages or in the moment inspiration type thing, that's awesome too. Because then they're like, you've got them, like you're with them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that could be a part of it. That makes sense. Yeah, cool. So we're starting to see, okay, so that's looking at the 4. So looking at one number, it's like, boom, that thing might be so much, right? And it could be that in the second part that you continue to build, or you continue, like if there's something that comes through. So then as you're doing this, then if someone's like, I'm having this challenge, you're like, I'm going to download a meditation, then you're not just downloading it for the moment, you're downloading it under a category.
Mm-hmm.
So you can come back to it in the future.
They come back to it, yeah. And that's what ultimately, I think where the value is I want to be able to give them the tools to do it on their own.
Yes.
Eventually, I mean, obviously there will be times when you need that person, but
yeah, you're going to be their person, but it doesn't mean they're going to have as much support. They might complete the Voxer support, but then you can have the final thing, or even just after the 90 days, if they're like, I feel pretty complete. I'm saying 90 days.
Yeah.
But for ease, I'm saying 90 days. Plus, it is typically a pretty good time frame for these type of people, I found, for a start. So then it could be that they're like, oh, I don't want to do that Voxer support or whatever. Then you can say, okay, well, you can, and maybe, yeah, I'm trying to think of what you could do after, like the after, which might be that they have, like, they get your best rate on private sessions. Doesn't mean you grandfather them in for all of time at a certain rate.
Right.
It's like they get your best. So, maybe it's just that they have 2 options, or like 1 option for a session or a deep dive or something. Because they're gonna, and you would need to educate them on when, but that's like the final thing. Or it could be you get 2 of those 2 sessions over the next year or something.
Yeah.
That's your final package. And then if they use that up, okay, well now you have to buy more.
Yeah.
But it's good to put things into containers, not just like, only for a session, because most people don't. And yeah, it's just the reality. So you want to make it easy for them.
That's right.
To keep getting support. Okay, so that's just looking at the 4. That's already like freaking awesome. So 8, we've got that these are high-powered people, and we're taking that into account in all of this design. 11 is the, hey, I pulled a card. I felt really called to pull a card, or I've had it before where I have a dream and it's like a message from a client. Like, what? Yeah. And you probably have stuff like that too. So that's your 11. It's like, that's a part of it that whenever the inspiration hits, you're going to share. And I would get permission for that, because or like what works best for you, because this is how it typically works best for me. I think of you and I'm like, they need this card, I pull it, and then, do you want that, or do you want me to not do that, and you just want me to share this, like kind of give them options, because it is like respect as well,
for sure,
of like what goes in. And back to the 4, we've got double 4. So 4 is really important. So you might create like a process that they start their day with, a process in the crazy moments where they're kind of really lost in whatever container you can put that in, right? The challenge. So we've got 4 there. 1, we've got you being a leader. We've got the 0 of you sharing your insights in the moment. Like 0 really operates in the moment. 0 is not like, I'm going to make this plan and it's going to take 10 years to arrive there. That's 4, right? That's 8. 10, well, 1 is the leadership, but the 0 is like, it's exactly what you need right now. So we're capturing that in some of the things we've talked about. And 3, 7 we've got. There might be more ways, but we've captured that a lot. Let's just think of the 3 for a moment. What word comes to mind when I say 3 for this package?
The word with 3 for me is expression.
Which you're doing. Is there anything else around 3?
It's the like creativity, writing. I like writing.
Cool.
I think maybe like some journaling. I love journals, so.
Right. Okay, so buy them a journal.
Or create one. I've already created one before.
Create one.
You create another one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. So that's a great example, and it's also very it's physical.
Yeah,
So the more we can combine all these, the better. So then when they join your program, you instantly like priority ship them this journal, and that's where and maybe they have to get that before your VIP day so that they can record stuff. I don't know, but it just makes it special, right?
Yeah, and that's what I love about it is the customization.
Mm-hmm.
Very luxurious.
Exactly, and you're made for it. You've got all this in you to share. So cool. And three is spontaneous as well. So it's like in the moment matches. So we're getting further confirmation of some of the things we've mapped out here. 3 is also, it's also voice, right? You said expression. So how can you help them use their voice more? Because they're in there, you're embracing or activating areas in them, helping them take care of themselves. So how can they say no? How can they set better boundaries? How can they speak their truth more fully? So anything you can do and processes you can do around that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have lots in my toolbox already around that. So.
Awesome. So we can see, so if we're looking at the first, for example, 90 days, it starts with this deep dive. And then what you would probably put like a number of sessions in there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
For that first 90 days.
I think so. I think 3 feels good.
Yeah, great.
And then doing the on demand.
Yeah, totally. And that's an important thing. It is probably good to hear how they best communicate.
Yeah.
Tell them with the app, but some people just don't use it. Like I love it. It's awesome. Yeah. But some people don't. So like, is it Facebook? Is it texting?
Yeah. Email, whatever, right?
Email. Yeah, whatever works for you. I would never say email.
Yeah, I know, but I'm good with that. Yeah.
Exactly. So whatever works for you, whoever's watching this, whatever works for you. So yeah, so now we can see, hey, this is a pretty cool, even just that alone. And with also the custom toolbox. Right? So you will have to replay this.
I'm going to, yeah. I was like, I'm going to just listen to this after and write notes.
I love it, yeah. So yeah, because this is actually really awesome that through the 90 days, you're going to develop a custom like self-care toolbox or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be meditation specific to them. What awesome. I also like the idea if you're receiving you can pull the card, the inspired pull the card thing. It can also be inspired channeling. Like, okay, whoa, I've got this message coming through, so do you want this inspired channeling? That's part of it. So again, I would always ask permission with all that stuff because then it's like, because I think boundaries are important with all that Aries energy. And that they're learning it as well. So permission and all that. So yeah, so we can already see, and we don't even know fully exactly what their challenges are, but we can see that for the type of person this is and for your natural design, you're giving all that you've got. And even like without it, like even putting it in a container, the toolbox, like the custom self-care toolbox, like that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's just
my 4 love that.
Yeah. And if you were just like, oh, I'll share a little message here or there, then the 3 is happy, but the 4 is like, this is like, what's the point of it, you know?
What's the point?
What is the result? No, the result is you have this like container of these custom meditations. So it can be custom meditations, and it could be inspiration around a certain thing. There can be channeling, like it could be custom meditations and custom inspiration around topics that they that matter to them. Yeah, so we can see that this is a really, I know we're having a little bit of echo. Is it really bad on your side?
It's not bad for me. Is it bad for you?
No, good. I just thought, wait a minute, what if it's worse on our side?
Yeah.
Or for the recording. So yeah, we could see just looking at your brand essence, looking at your gifts, like, hey, this is pretty freaking epic. And this is not like a cookie cutter thing, right? We looked at your natural design and we created this epic thing. And of course, you're going to tweak it and add to it and make sure it fits and is in alignment for you. But just right here, it's like, hey, this is awesome. And also going back to the Leo, which is like luxurious, so you'd want to do this at a place that's really beautiful. And maybe you would consider having there's like the they come to you option, and then there's the you come to them option where they would fly you out.
Yeah, and that sort of feels, because of what I experienced this week, I went to where she was in her element and spiritually, and I feel like that I want to go to their vortex because that's where it's most powerful. And what came to me too was your picture of your mountain that you posted. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I want to go to their mountain. I want to go to their spot, right? Their spiritual spot, because that's where so much more magic comes.
I love it. Totally. So then you got to work that in.
Yeah.
And you could share it. You say, we can do it here. And that's great. Because, you know, I've chosen the place and I feel really good here. Or you can fly me out and this is, you know, this is what this package is.
Yeah, I have different options.
It would be this plus airfare and accommodations, you know.
Right.
Which you wouldn't have to necessarily know ahead of time, or you could work it in and just put in enough buffer that it would for sure cover it. Cool. Epic. This is awesome.
I feel like there's something birthing here. It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I just love not just thinking of what you should do. It's not what you should do. It's like, all right, who are you? Who are they? What's a good way to serve these people given who you are?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And of course, if you're able to look at a different offering, which is more for the masses or more like leveraged, it would be different.
Yeah.
But awesome example for custom. Yay! Yay! This is awesome. I'm excited for you and for your new clients. Yeah, and really important to get as contained as possible. Like, what is their challenge to why they would buy this? That's the most important thing in all marketing. Is why would they buy this? Like, what would they invest to solve? And while they're with you, other stuff's going to come up and they'll want to solve that too. But what would they actually invest to solve? That's going to be important. And yeah, so my intention is to get this created inspiration, of course, for Kim, but also for the community to start thinking, hey, how can it look? Because especially in fulfillment, when your fulfillment feels good, it's way easier to fill it. When you feel so excited about, hey, this is awesome, like, and like this really creates transformation, and this is really great, and I love doing it. It's way more inspiring to then go find people and attract people, bring them in. So, yeah, that was our first ever Profit Pathway Hot Seat. Thank you so much, Kim, for being here, and so excited about this, and I look forward to hearing about it, getting out into the world, and further refining. Of course, this is just like a quick little thing here, and you will refine. Yeah, awesome. Okay, thanks, Kim.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll see you next time.